Quick heads up before we get to today's episode, you guys. This is actually a sneak peek from one of the lessons inside my coaching program. So if you've been loving the podcast, just know that there's so much more waiting for you inside. Full frameworks, next level support, beautiful community, and you and I having conversations like this and talking about how they can apply to you and your real life. This guidance meets you exactly where you're at. The podcast is a really powerful first step, but the programs are where things really shift. You can learn more and take the next step at the link in the show notes. Welcome to the Shannon McCabe Show, where we break free from our drink-obsessed culture, challenge the myths around alcohol, and redefine sobriety as the empowering choice it truly is. I'm Shannon McCabe, sober coach, holistic nutritionist, and your guide to a life that feels better without booze. Whether you're newly sober, sober curious, or years into this journey, this podcast is here to give you the truth about alcohol, the tools to build lasting confidence, and the hope that a vibrant, fulfilling life is waiting for you on the other side. So grab your coffee or sparkling water and let's dive in. Hey friends, welcome back. All right, this is a heavy-hitting conversation today. And honestly, this is a conversation I love to have because I don't mind pushing the envelope a little bit. I don't mind saying it like it is and giving you guys like the real talk and the shifts that hopefully help you get fired up, help us feel more confident in this choice that we've made and in this journey that we're on. And so today's conversation is one that sometimes ruffles feathers, and it is often a truth that people don't want to hear. And if it even kind of lands for you that way a little bit, like if this brings up some constriction for you, if this brings up a little bit of like unease or discomfort, that's okay. You guys remember that when that happens, it's just an opportunity for us to lean into curiosity a little bit more. And it's an opportunity for us to open our mind a little bit more. And as with everything, I'm going to put this disclaimer out there, especially with this conversation, that this is in no way judging anybody. I am not judging people that still choose to drink. I am not judging people that smoke either. This is just a conversation around the facts. This is just conversation around the facts of the role that cigarettes and the tobacco companies have played in our society, the role that alcohol manufacturers, marketers play in our society, and a way that we can shift the lens through which we view all of these things to build our confidence and to realize that, you know what, we're not crazy for wanting to remove alcohol. We're not extreme. If anything, you guys, we are just the early adopters. We are just ahead of the curve. But even that, this group of us that are ahead of the curve is growing by leaps and bounds every single day. Okay, so let's just get right into this, you guys, because when I came up with kind of this frame of thought and started thinking about this, and I feel like this whole conversation, this whole idea in my head just came in response to different posts and different comments I would see online. And as I got more confident and outspoken in my sobriety and encouraging other people to embrace the idea of sobriety from a standpoint of it just being a health and wellness decision, like we can take the stigma and the labels and the idea that we have to wait until we hit a rock bottom, or that we have to even say we have a drinking problem or be an alcoholic to quit drinking. Like, let's bring this back to just the facts of health and wellness and compare it to the same movement that our society has actually already been through with cigarettes and with tobacco in like the 80s and the 90s, okay? And so I'm dating myself with some of this here, you guys, because I remember my own childhood and my teen years and even through college when it was still legal, it was still allowed, it was still perfectly normal for smoking to be allowed everywhere. I remember going to like McDonald's as a child in the 80s and then in high school in the 90s where there were like those little metal ashtrays on the tables at McDonald's because people could smoke there. We could still smoke on airplanes, bars, of course. Like my college memories, any time spent at bars meant that you reeked like cigarette smoke when you came home because you were trapped in a building of smoke the entire time, right? Like I think by that time, smoking had been made illegal on airplanes, because I don't really remember there being cigarettes on airplanes when I would fly as a kid or as a teen. But I remember when these laws started to be enacted, when smoking was no longer allowed in public places because the health considerations, the information about secondhand smoke and what it did to people was so widely accepted by then and so common that it became a public health emergency, right? Like, people who choose to smoke should not be allowed to inflict that damage on other people when we're just out to eat or something like that, right? All of this is also precipitated by the fact, you guys, if we go back in time even farther than that, which obviously I don't remember, like the 50s and 60s, I wasn't alive. But if you get online, or if you've ever spent time, like, if anybody in your family has like magazines, the big old magazines from the 50s and 60s, or now with Google, you can find it all there. For decades, smoking was marketed as like a health product. I don't know if you know this. Sometimes people don't know this, but not only was it just completely normalized and glamorized, right? Like the completely sophisticated, perfectly put together vision of a housewife in the 1950s and 60s was always smoking a cigarette. Cigarettes were actually marketed to pregnant women as a way to keep your weight down during pregnancy. Now think about that with everything we know now about how harmful tobacco and cigarettes are, not just to the health of the mother, but to the health of a growing fetus. But for a long time, that information was withheld from us. Tobacco companies have always known. They have always known this. And they now have rules and regulations in place as a result of the ways that they intentionally misled the public about the dangers of their product. You guys, this is the same exact thing that's happening with alcohol right now. Alcohol companies have known for decades how addictive alcohol is, how it's linked to cancer, how it is linked to mental health concerns like anxiety and depression, all while using clever marketing to portray it as an innocent pastime, as a solution for stress and worry, as a social lubricant to make us more fun and more relaxed and encourage connection and everything. What alcohol companies have been doing for decades, but specifically in the last 15 to 20 years with mommy wine culture and the shift of wine specifically to women and mothers, it is a deliberate, intentional campaign to mislead us about the detrimental effects of alcohol to boost their sales and their profits. Our society is waking up to this, though. Like, the facts are coming out. This is one thing that is like the good thing, a silver lining in this age of information and the internet, and how easy it is to share everything with anybody all over the world now, is that what we're witnessing is the dismantling of these lies that alcohol companies have told, the same way that it happened with cigarettes and tobacco companies in the 80s and 90s. We're seeing the farther reaching effects of this. Like right now, as of the time I'm recording this video, I think Ireland has become the first country in the world that has said it is going to start requiring the same health warning labels on alcohol that are required on cigarettes. Those labels on cigarettes and tobacco products came as a result of people realizing and lobbying against the ways that tobacco companies have misled the public. The same thing is happening with alcohol companies now. And why shouldn't it, right? Alcohol is no different than cigarettes and tobacco. And if those companies are held to a standard where they're not allowed to have commercials that air anymore, they're not allowed to target children specifically, which they did for a really long time, if you don't remember that. I truly believe we're on the cusp of the same thing happening with alcohol, where the way that they are allowed to market in any magazine, on all TV shows, on sports, everything like that is going to change, because people are waking up to the facts about alcohol, that it is an addictive drug. Can you imagine if heroin or cocaine or meth was allowed to advertise the way alcohol does. Can you even imagine seeing commercials for cigarettes like that anymore? It was commonplace not that long ago. And then the plug was pulled on it because enough people said, this is not right. Tobacco and cigarettes are an addictive chemical that destroy people's health. They need to be regarded as such, where it's, if you want to make the choice to consume it, fine, but they cannot be marketed and portrayed as just an innocent pastime with no repercussions. The same thing is happening to alcohol now. And people are going to think that sounds extreme. I get it. I know. There's a lot of people that don't love to hear me talk about this stuff. They don't want to think of it this way because alcohol is everywhere. It's so deep and it's so ingrained in every single layer of our society. But you guys, it doesn't mean that it's okay or healthy or normal or innocent, because all of the facts that are coming out now tell us that it's not. No amount of alcohol is safe. No amount of alcohol is healthy. And so, yes, if adults still want to choose to drink, then sure, everybody deserves that right. But they also deserve to have all of the information. Women, moms, even dads, men, everybody deserves to have all of the facts about how easy it is to become addicted to alcohol, because it is an addictive drug. It is a chemically addictive substance. So when you start to feel overwhelmed by just the prevalence of alcohol everywhere still, how normalized it is to not just drink, but drink to excess in every area of life, I hope that this conversation, this realization can be another part of the foundation that empowers you and helps you feel more confident in realizing that we're not crazy. We're not crazy. And we also don't have to feel defeated. You don't have to give in to labels or shame if that's what they bring up in you, meaning if you don't want to say I'm an alcoholic, if you're not an alcoholic, if you don't want to say I have a drinking problem and I had to quit, it can simply be, with everything I know about alcohol now, I choose not to because I don't want that in my life. I don't want something that is known to cause cancer, is known to contribute to anxiety and depression, is known to shrink the brain and predispose me to more things like Alzheimer, Parkinson's, dementia, not to mention what it does to our hormones and our digestion and our skin and our sleep. No thanks. No thanks. I'd rather not. You guys, we're just the early adopters. I hope that you really can find some solace in that and can really let that sink in. Try to think about all of the stages of outright lies, complete acceptance and normalization, to eventual bans on how cigarettes and tobacco could be marketed, could be talked about. The fact that everywhere now there has to be labels and warnings about the dangers of cigarettes and how addictive they are, and just a tip of the iceberg of the health concerns that can come from smoking. We are headed that way with alcohol. So we're just the early adopters. We're just ahead of the curve. We're just figuring it out before the big, large masses. And I promise it's already happening. I think about even just how much more socially acceptable being sober curious, let alone sober, has become in just the 2.5 years since I quit drinking, let alone going back even just 5 years from when I first really, really kind of started to be sober curious. 5 years from now, we probably will be seeing warning labels. It's already being talked about here in the States too. You guys, it really is inevitable because the facts are there. And the powers that be, the alcohol companies that stand to lose the most, are going to fight it, but they don't really have a leg to stand on. The facts are there, and they have been willfully deceiving people to push their profits. that's not going to go on forever. So I'd love to hear how this conversation lands for you. What does it bring up? Does it embolden you? Does it feel heavy? And again, when we talk about this isn't at all, like, I don't want you guys to think that everybody needs to become a crusader, right? I get that the majority of you that quit drinking, you're not looking to do what I do, right? I wasn't even looking to do this when I first quit drinking, but we all have a path, we all have a calling that lands on our heart, but you don't have to like sink into this knowing and these beliefs and this conviction and then become a crusader for it. But it absolutely can become part of the foundation on which you grow your confidence and you grow your commitment and your discipline to making this your new way of living, because it's what's best for you. It's what is going to allow you to show up the best way possible in your life for you and your loved ones. And conversations like today just kind of help bolster that confidence and help us zoom out and look at all of this from a bigger scope, a bigger landscape, and realize that we're not alone. We're not extreme. We're not the outliers. We're just the first ones.
That's it for today's episode. If this conversation resonated with you, don't forget to subscribe so you never miss a new episode. And if you're loving the show, I'd be so grateful if you'd leave a quick review. It helps others find this message and start their own journey to freedom. Until next time, keep choosing yourself, keep believing in what's possible, and remember, you are so much stronger than you think.